Derek, prove yourself to the public. It's like, the public licks my ass when I shit. If a normal person in the public who did no training, some 18-year-old kid wants to tell me I'm a piece of shit and we need to fight, he challenges me, I don't give a about his 27 followers and his challenge. I spent $4 million on my own gyms and a couple million more dollars on one-on-one training. More importantly, I spent thousands of hours on that. It's not controversial to anybody that trained with me. And if it's controversial to some dummy in the public who probably never trained at all or trained at a very low level, so I don't care, man. Like, that we're not even in the same universe together. Those people and I are not in the same room together. There's nothing that I want to prove to them, you know? Do I need to let them ride in my Rolls Royce as well to prove that I have a Rolls Royce?
No, my initial reaction was like, let's beat these guys up because I know how good you are. But then I realized it's just a waste of time, and nothing you're going to do is going to make them happy. So, like I said, my initial like, oh, let's go fight these guys. Then I realized it's pointless. You're going to fight a bunch of people. People are going to say it's staged, or you knock a couple people out. Someone might sue you after. So there's nothing really to win from it.
That's what nobody else understands. You sign a waiver to do something, okay, fine. But then, you know, I'm going to have a series of people that are trying to injure me, and not train with me, but injure me. And so I'm supposed to go fight a sea of people that are half my age, and I get nothing from it. I don't make an extra penny. In fact, it's a distraction from me from focusing on the couple main things that I should. And what do I get from that? I get nothing. So, Derek, prove yourself to the public. It's like, the public licks my ass when I shit. That's what I think of the public. The public eats my shit. I don't care at all about the public. I don't care if somebody who's offended by that is a low life and a loser, is a super loser. Is like, because I'm not saying that to somebody who thinks rationally. I'm saying that to, like, if you think that I bribed 60 people, I bribed, you know, 30 world champions and 30 more top contenders. If you think that was easier than just doing the work to get a black belt, like, that's a crazy person. And if I insult that crazy person, I don't give a fuck, man. I don't care what they think about me at all. I don't think about them at all, man.
That would almost be more impressive than getting the black belt with the real skills if you're able to bribe that many people.
Man, I wish I had the skills to socially engineer that, because I'd be like president or something. I'd be president of the whole world.